Welcome
Check.
back to College Boy Taisen. This is episode 3? What, episode 4 technically?
Why did we name it 0?
It was episodes. We called it episode 0 because we wanted to see how good we would do with each other, and we're like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
Obviously, it worked out.
It worked out. Week 4.
Now we screwed up the numbering.
It's okay. It's okay.
Alright, it's alright.
So, today we have two similar topics as previous week. We have Geats episode 3 and Cyberpunk Edgerunners, because now I have completely seen it. We could talk about spoilers, so the second we, after we're done about Geats and we start talking about Edgerunners, if you haven't seen it, pause it, go watch it on Netflix and come back. It's actually really good. It's a good show.
We'll be right here. We'll be waiting for you.
We'll be right here. We'll be waiting for you.
That is the corniest thing.
We'll be right here. Don't put down that
We'll
remote.
be right here waiting for you, but you know what? You can always listen to the other episodes. You can go back to last week's where we had non-spoilers. Do that. I don't know. It's your life, man.
Actually,
I'm out of it.
Don't pause this. Just keep
don't
watching.
Don't pause this. Half of it's bullshit. We're gonna be bullshitting for.
We'll be gone. We're gonna start talking about Dino Fury halfway. You'll never expect it.
We'll double back to the Mummy movie topic from episode 2 or episode 1. Right?
The numbering is bad. Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll talk about. Yeah.
Geats. Kamen Rider Geats. Episode
3.
All about
something
Neon and Dapan. This is the first episode where Kawa didn't have that much of a focus.
Yay! Well, no, he's alright. I didn't mean that in a bad way. I meant yay, spreading it out.
We have more focus on Neon. It's even though Neon and Pan were the focus, Kawa still had some moments where it's like, oh yeah, here's my screen time. But Jacob, what did you think about episode 3?
I actually really enjoyed this episode. I was more than I thought I would. Oh god, I feel really bad. I should have wrote down my thoughts on this. I really wish I did. But there's a lot of good character moments. God.
Actually no. There's a bunch of separate things this episode. There's a lot of rivalry between Buffa and Geats. Well, there was also the team up between Buffa and Dapan. Kawa was having his usual moments of guys, we should work together, and everyone else is like, fuck you,
Kawa. And then Mary's there, and he's like, yeah, good job, raccoon guy.
I actually love Mary. Mary, I don't really care about him, because, ultimately he hasn't done anything yet. I assume he's probably going to have, maybe, a focus episode within the next 3 or so episodes. But what I mostly like about it, I like how he's kind of fake. He's kind of fake.
I feel like he's fake, but at the same time, he doesn't.
He's a tiny bit two-faced.
I don't know. I can go both ways because honestly, my how I am the majority of the time, I honestly think he's just gonna be a nice dude. But I do agree. Maybe there's a strong possibility there is some sort of two-faced thing. But I feel as though that'd be kind of derivative of, Dapan being kind of the secret evil guy, even though he's clearly out in the open now. But
that didn't last long.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they pull it, but low key with Mary, because Mary, obviously he has those moments with Neon where he's kind of being a hype man. But also at the same time, it's oh man, how did you get points, Tycoon? And Kate was like, oh, I just saved people. And so the next time they're in battle, it's hey, does anybody want to be saved?
Yeah.
Also, we got Neon. More Neon screen time.
Yeah, no, she was really good. I really liked seeing her and Ace together. Not romantically, but I think it's a good dynamic. And I think it's cool that they're she's doing the live stream. He just shows up and everyone's freaking out. It's oh my god, it's Ace.
I actually really like that moment of when it cuts to the girl's phone and Ace is just so casually there, just standing.
I think that's good of keeping that whole, his Star of the Stars thing.
So,
and
Star. Oh, he has
Speaking of him,
stars.
speaking of him,
Are we gonna talk about that scene?
Yeah, well, I don't know what scene he has a couple of the scenes in this episode.
I feel like he has two solid the scenes to me.
The one I'm thinking of is when it's him. He's staring at
the billboard, yeah.
The billboard, and he's like, "I'm gonna find you," or "You're gonna come and find." Whatever. It's one of the two. He's like, "I'm gonna find you, or come and find me."
You may have not realized it yet, but I'm coming for you, and I'm going to come.
Yes,
find
that's
you.
what it is. That's what it is. So I'm really curious to see what that is. I think it's the guy in the mask he's looking for. I think that's who he's looking for.
I think that is who he's looking for, but something about him staring at a picture of himself as it happens really makes me feel like there's something deeper going on.
There is the two aces in the opening.
Honestly, that's what I was about to say. Like, maybe there actually is two aces.
I don't know. It'd be some funky shit if there was just another.
I mean, hey, Yuya Takahashi has done this before. The other guy inside the guy. You know, there we have Parad.
I don't
know if Aruto really had one, but like we had Parad.
I mean, you had Naki and Fua.
Yeah. So you know, this was always like another
There's always
guy.
something like that.
It's really interesting though.
I think I'm really excited to see where that goes. I don't know why, but that really piqued my interest of like.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because that's obviously what his desire could be about, like finding whoever this is. Because that's the thing.
To what did we say this? We either said this in episode 1 or episode 1 thing or last week's, but like the whole thing of he could just been have doing this forever and he could have kept getting wishes or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Like his goal has always been to find this person, but he's never like picked the wish. Like, hey, I want to find so and so.
I'm gonna give a little spoiler for my channel here. I've actually been working on a Geats analysis video.
Whoa!
Yeah, and I'm gonna quickly talk about a point here. Like, if this comes out after I finish the video, then it won't matter. But like, I have a point in the script where I say because obviously, you know, it's opening analysis, and basically my guess of what the opening is. Because everyone's like, oh, it's Ace trying to bring down the organization from the inside out. Or it's him trying to, like, break free from the desires because everyone else isn't, or something. I don't know. People have had their theories. But my theory is basically that Trust Last is basically depicting the first time Ace ever had, or Ace ever competed in the Desire Grand Prix.
Mm-hmm.
Because he starts off as as like chained up. And then we slowly see him like start to break free and become Geats. And it feels like it's like kind of becoming Geats for the first time because, you know, Samuri approached him. And but the big thing that also like has me there is that the second to last shot in the opening is Geats standing on like the rocks by the water where Ace was in the very beginning.
True.
So that makes me believe that the opening is basically depicting the round before the round in episode 1. Because, like, we established before in a different episode that I believe there's been at least 2 previous games.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of I'm cracking down on that, or doubling down on that. I think there's been only 2 previous games that at least Ace has been a part of. I don't know how long the game itself has been running. But I feel like Ace has been at least 2 solid games. Maybe he didn't win the first one, but maybe he... You know, maybe he didn't die, so he got another chance, like Buffa. Or actually, no, he would have had to have one, because then he remembers in the first episode. Because I was thinking about that as I said it. So yeah, either he won his first round and then went to the next one, which is why we have that scene of the rock quarry, and then into this one. So that means he'd only have had 2 wishes. So maybe he didn't believe it the first time and didn't make a wish, or had like a shitty wish. So it was like, oh, I need to test the limits of the Grand Prix.
I wish to go to this. I wish to go to the Toei Rock face.
Or maybe what I think it could also be is maybe he had a wish that was too big, and like it didn't get granted. So that's how he found out there were limits.
I like that idea. That's a cool idea. I like what you said of well, it's not really what you said, but like the idea of like. he's trying to escape the desires. Like I think that's an inner, like he's trying to get away from like wanting this wish, like so badly that he's like willing to like fight for it or whatever. But it's like he wants to actually figure out what's going on instead of just keep wanting to get a wish to get fame or whatever it is. I think that's really interesting, or really interesting idea.
So Jacob,
Take rather.
I just want to get straight to it. I want to ask you a question.
I'll give you an answer.
Nago and Japan, do you think they're dying next week or this week?
Oh, I think Nago I think is staying. Not so much. I think Nago's staying for one because
tertiary writer.
Tertiary writer. Her buckle hasn't come out yet, and not even the ID core has come out yet. Japan, I could see going either way. He stays or he dies. But
honestly, I'd be surprised if he goes out
more.
Honestly, I'd be surprised if he goes out before Mary does.
Mary. I feel like Mary's gonna be like a sleeper. Like he's gonna stay around longer than we actually think. I don't know though. A lot of what I say personally, right, is based on how they, like just what we get from like toy listings and stuff. That's how I base a lot of my thoughts on. So we already know about spoilers. Whatever whatever Japan's getting Punk Jack or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But like, we know Nago is getting something, so she obviously can't die yet. Japan is the one I'm like, okay. He could die. It's Punk. We know he's becoming something else. So it's a matter of, is he going to die now, or is he going to die like a few episodes later from this, and then he's going to come back immediately with that, whatever that new form is, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I could see him getting disqualified. Oh, that was another thing. The whole. I think we were talking about. Were we talking about the rules? Last week, I feel like
we talked about the rules while we were watching it, and I was like, "Oh, is there disqualification rounds?"
That's what it was. But yeah, they showed off the rules. That's cool.
See, yeah, even if he lives, there's also like all the times he attacked Nago could have put him at the bottom of the leaderboard.
I don't know. I can't. A lot of our conversations blur together, so I don't remember. I feel bad not remembering what we talked about in the actual episodes. But like, I think we talked about at some point about the idea of, can you get disqualified if you don't get enough points, or do you stay in? And they said in this episode, in this round, if you don't get enough points, you're disqualified.
So yeah, I'm 100% sure now that this round isn't going to last a while.
I think it's done after this one because I think they went through 2 waves of zombies. I think the next episode is the last one.
Yeah, well, I just mean like in general, like this round of the game.
Yeah. I got you.
If they're having disqualification rounds.
Talking
yeah.
I was like, I get the rounds and the missions. Like I mix them up.
So, I think we should talk about the big one of the episode that everyone's been pondering about, talking about, discussing. Shout out homie Chris.
Shout out Chris.
Time to talk about Japan.
Boo.
Japan,
not even a boo. Not even like he hasn't pissed me off. He's just kind of like.
He doesn't piss me off. It's just I'm pondering if we should talk about that.
Oh, what? Him bringing his buckle to school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff like that isn't funny, but it's like Yu Takahashi obviously thanks to 01.
I was actually about to say that.
Yu
Takahashi does this kind of stuff.
I don't know where it was in X8. I've been thinking about this for a while. Like, okay, he did this in 01.
I would say here's what I think X8 was. I think it was the whole hold on. You talk for a second because my friend said this to me and I don't want to.
All right, so like basically it's like 01 had all the humor gears is like this stand-in for minorities. There's the MC Check It Out episode, obviously. All this stuff, MBG are terrorists. So it's like, so either I missed something in X8 or Yu Takahashi has always had like this. He has always tried to input some kind of social commentary into his seasons, and not to say like no other season does. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of other seasons that have political stuff like Drive and Build and so. But
You
like,
wanna? All right.
Yu Takahashi's is always more explicit somehow.
Yes. So this is not I had to look back at what I was talking with my friend, and obviously you don't remember, but X8 he kind of covers parental abuse a bit with Dan and Masamune in a way. You could say that maybe.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But obviously now that we have the like, he had the heavy topic of
Heavier,
racism.
no, parental abuse is a heavy topic, but like it's
There's racism in 01, so obviously people have
mm,
been thinking with like the way Japan talked, the way he acted, like his mentality, what he wished for. People really thought he was supposed to be some kind of commentary on school essers. I don't know if I don't know if we should say the full thing, dude.
I don't know if we should, but
It's,
I don't know.
yeah,
I think people are. I don't. Not people are onto something. I think it's a very blatant. I guess it is a commentary on it, but I don't want to call it that.
yeah, because like
I'm like,
if I would hesitate to call it a commentary because what exactly is it trying to say about the subject other
yeah,
than just
exactly.
Japan is like this? Like the most there was is just Neon saying, "How come you didn't wish for like like fixing your legs or something?" And he's like, "Fuck that! No, I don't care about that no more."
If I were him, I would have just moved out of the way of the truck.
So I guess
I hate when they do that. He had maybe it's exaggerated, but like he had plenty of time to move. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong. You can count it. We'll ignore that. More importantly.
Oh god, I think that just derailed my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
Oh god, what was I thinking about? Well, I think it's more so just like maybe Yu Takahashi is truly emphasizing that like when it comes to people's desires, or just anyone in the Grand Prix can be any type of person. Like you have your nice people, you have your cocky people, you have your e-girl influencers that actually hate their lives even though they're rich. You have
your actual terrible people.
Yeah, you have your possibly a criminal.
Possibly a criminal.
I mean, bro, like if it wasn't the Desire Grand Prix, Japan probably would have done something.
It wasn't the Desire Grand Prix.
Like it's
the episode title.
It's really crazy. Like because I remember watching that scene, live with you and Chris, and we just saw him like looking at the belt in class. And he's like, "Is he gonna transform and like kill people? Like what is he doing?"
I remember going, "Whoa, buddy."
It was like, something is wrong here.
I think it's worse because it's the Magnum.
Yeah, like they had to have known. They had to have known what they were doing.
I think it was intentional. 110%. Honestly, it's intentional, but I don't know what they're...
So, with that mentality, I don't know, honestly, how long OJ... Or, I was going to say OJ. That's going to be a later point. But I don't know how long, much longer Japan could last. Because...
As Japan,
yeah.
too, like...
If he does become Punk Jack, then I'm completely fine if he's, like... one of the last 3 contestants or something, because I'm a fan of Ryuki. I love Oja, and despite Oja being a terrible person and a murderer and all this, he literally lives like all the way to the end. Like he lasts a long. He's basically one of the main 4 writers, and so I've literally like before Geats aired, I was like, I want this again? I want a villain writer that's absolutely terrible, like the most despicable human being
and they
could ever think of. And just have him stick around the entire show, even though all of us want him to die. Like that, I love stuff like that. And we might be getting that, if they somehow find a cure to the zombie thing.
I'd be interested. Here's the thing, though. No matter if he dies or not, he's gonna have the lowest amount of points.
Yeah, but like disqualification is like we don't know what happens if you get disqualified yet, because presumably you don't die. Like
presumably, yeah.
But
if you think because Naga's gonna get points for beating the zombies in the next episode with the boost and the big hammer, which is cool.
Either that, it's like Japan does stuff and somehow someone does worse.
That'd be interesting. That could be
the way Mary goes out.
Now, I could see Mary going out by
especially since points. he was asking about points,
and especially since it's like, Japan. Him and Nago are kind of the two who can't really. I don't want to say do anything. That seems kind of rude. But more
I think they're
so,
still
they're
counted as
not.
players, but like not to the other players.
No, I meant more so Depan and not Depan. Nago and Mary being like the most skilled, I guess is a better word,
Oh
if that
yeah.
makes sense. Like that, I think if anyone would go out, it'd be between. If Depan goes out because he's disqualified because of not having enough points, the next one will be between them two. I don't think, main rider bias aside, and Buffa's actually good, and Kawa is gonna focus on rescuing people, so he's gonna keep getting that mad amount of
Actually,
points.
something I wanted to talk about with Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
There was a shot of of this week's episode coming out, and it's like that. From the next time preview, we see them tying up Japan somewhere, presumably because I don't know. He's turning into a zombie. He's trying to kill them or something, or maybe like he just truly stopped caring about the game and focused on killing everyone. Or and it seems like Buffa is like trying to maybe like end him or like put him out of his misery, and it's like a shot of Kawa like fighting Buffa or like not really fighting, but like
Ooh,
trying to just like hold him back.
interesting.
So Kawa's gonna do something this week.
I
He's
think
gonna finally have a
I think
conflict with somebody.
I think Buffa seemed kind of pissed at him. Like, no, Buffa more pissed at Japan for doing like.
Well, yeah, because it's like man, let's team up. I'll let you use Magnum, and then he's like, oh man, you actually used me because you're a zombie, you loser.
You actually like attacked because like everyone was like, oh, Buffa's gonna be the bad guy, but it's like no,
Buffa's not really a bad guy.
He's not even. He's just kind of a dick.
He's competitive
Geats and everybody else.
He's just competitive.
Puts on his gamer headset and he's in. He's leaning forward that whole time.
Yeah. But wow,
And then,
yeah, just oh my god, Japan.
But we get Geats zombie, which is cool. We get him using the zombie buckle.
What's really on my mind is just how are they gonna solve it? Because like, I feel like a lot of the time in Writer, they kind of spoil how things are gonna get solved in the next time preview. But nah, like episode 4's entire preview was solely like building on the concept of Nago dying, because like there was all these lines of like, is this really the end for me? Oh man, is this really gonna be my last fight? And like the last line of the preview was, I leave the rest to you two. I don't know who she's saying you two to. I assume it's Ace and Kawa.
I'd be surprised. Maybe they could pull a fast one, but I don't know.
I think I just really feel like it has to do with something with the zombie buckle. And also because
he goes zombie for a zombie.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily like.
But like it seems like zombies' entire thing is more so like poison than like zombification.
Yeah. I still think that's odd that it says it's poison charge, and then when you put in the gun it's poison. I don't know. I don't think there's anything to it. It's just an odd. What would you call it? I don't even want to call it a creative choice. I don't know.
It's a weird contrast.
Yeah, because it's like the other ones go. Well, they say their names, and then this one's just going poison.
Ace was had the final line this week of like, the game's not over yet, and like it's interesting that he said it because like, if Geats or if Ace truly was like, oh, we're all in this for ourselves, I don't really care about you guys, I don't think he really would have said that.
I think he's pissed because Japan goes after another player. Like I don't think he would have cared more so if it was just Naga's own actions.
Yeah, he did go out of his way to save Naga. I wanted to think about that.
And he goes out of his way to specifically use a rider kick, which was badass. By the way. All the tombstones popping up.
I love the I think so far Geats has had a really good mix of practical and CGI.
Yeah.
Like there's a little stuff with just like the chain sword, but like they have a little like CGI rebel.
Oh, and how he made using the chainsaword on the zombies and they just dissolve.
Oh yeah,
really cool.
it's really nice.
I think Ace's thing. Not I think it's gonna be this, but I think his idea, or no motivation rather, is because like the game itself, right? That's your own fault if you suck, right?
Yeah.
But if you are purposely getting screwed over by somebody else, I think that's the reason why he's like, no, we're gonna save you, Nago, or fuck you, Japan, one of those two.
It may also
And I
be
think that's
that, like,
cool.
yeah, I also feel like it could be a secondary thing of, like, oh, there were zombies on the way, too, so I can get more points while saving Naga.
I mean, he did. He still racked up. He racked up all the points. He was the one who beat all the zombies. So it's like, there's a benefit to him. I think, it's as you said, it's a benefit. Like, he gets to kick this guy's ass and he gets points.
I also, I said it, like, the past 2 weeks, but, like, the moral ambiguity, they've been keeping it up for the past 3 episodes, and I love it. Like, sure, like, Kay was still there of, like, wouldn't this be better if we just focused on saving people, like, this and this and this? And honestly, it's kind of funny that, like, he's being rewarded for that behavior, because he's, like, he was third or fourth on the board. But like,
boost again.
But, like, all those times, it was just, like, oh, man, guys, can't we work together? And it's usually, I've been noticing a lot that's usually Ace, and Ace is just like, no, that's stupid.
Honestly, like, the logic of let's work together, right? In the context of the game, it harms both parties if you think about it. Because, like, the points get distributed, but you're both not getting the amount you should if you were all soloing, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, I get Kayla's goal, but, like, from a practicality standpoint, if you actually wanted to win, there's no point to team up other than, you kill steal.
There's also, I guess the other ambiguities to it of, like, again, most of the players that have already become desensitized to the deaths of other humans, or that one of the people that's surrounding them, or I guess two of them are slowly becoming zombies.
Yeah.
Like they don't really care, and like it's just like, wow. Like even Ace just has a pretty like casual reaction to everything. It's just the only one who really cares is Kayla.
And even Mary wasn't like. I think Buffalo was upset, but
Buffalo was upset that Geats found a loophole. Over it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even back at the forest where Japan's like, I just hate everybody. I just want to make all of humanity go extinct. And Kayla was like, whoa. I thought, isn't the goal of the entire game to save humanity? Shouldn't we be wishing for that? And it's just like, no, actually, you can just wish for whatever you want. So I don't give a fuck. It's just like, bro.
Oh my god, I can't keep calling him Buffalo. What's his name?
Azuma.
I was close. Azuma is like, why'd you attack him? And Ace has to like explain the whole thing of him being a zombie.
No, it's so
not
funny.
Saying it was obvious.
No, it's so funny of like, because like usually in stuff like that, it's, bro, why did you attack him? He's a writer. In this case, it's like, bro, why did you attack him and not get a penalty? What the hell?
Yeah, it's like
he asked out of the worry of him winning, not that Japan got hurt. Like everyone here is just an asshole. Like even though they're all saving humanity, now we found out that like they can just do this and not even like save anybody and wish for like the death of all humankind.
Wishing for the yeah. Oh god, I can't believe I'm segueing to this. But
it truly is a hater mentality.
Yes. Speaking of the hater mentality, honestly, Japan's more of a hater than I am, because like I would, it's kind of his. He should have not been out that late. He should have, had his headphones out, watching where he was going. But hating leads us to the incredible section that we all know and love, the hater wheel.
The hater wheel. We're back at it for the third round.
At some point, Ghia will go, Jacob, can we stop doing the hater wheel? At some point, it'll happen. At some point, I'll segue into it, and he'll be like, Jacob, not today. Anyways, we're spinning the wheel. I don't even have I'm not even in a hater mood today. We're just gonna see what comes up, and if it comes up, oh well. Oh, thank God it didn't land on him.
All right, well, who was it today, Jacob?
It was Mr. Vaughn Cooper.
Vaughn Cooper.
Ah,
Take it away.
ah,
I don't know anything about Vaughn.
oh, Vaughn. Vaughn's a robot. Vaughn is a different breed of being. Like, I can't even hate on. I can't hate on. Oh my god, I can't hate on Vaughn. Vaughn's actually a really nice guy. Mr. Cooper. I think it's 92.
What does he do exactly?
Vaughn posts dance videos. You know, he posts some funny tweets. He's part of the Legion of Boom. He's super nice, very supportive. He's one of the best people in the community, honestly. And he's a great friend. You know, I've known him for a while. Not personally known him for a while, but more so like, you know, we've known each other for a while. I guess that's the same. But regardless, he's great. I don't even know why he's on the hater wheel. I just put him on there because it's funny.
See, now, even though you just, like, basically gave him a shout-out, I can still put this on Twitter and Adam saying, like, check out this episode of College Boy Taisen where Jacob talks shit on Vaughn.
Hold on, let me give it, like, a clickbaity thing. You know, Vaughn's fucking annoying. There you go. I was going to think. It's hard to... Because, you know... I was going to say I could think of, like, specific... Like, some people I could think of specific things to, like, joke about, right? Like, jokingly hate on, right? But, like, Vaughn, it's like, there's nothing. Other than, like, you know, like, the obvious kind of... Not so much, like, it's stuff to hate on him about, but it's obvious jokes. Like, one time on a stream, he just goes, Jacob, leave me alone. It's... that's a funny clip. He's got a lot of... He's funny. He's so... I forget. Ginga Herb, I think, called him unintentionally like the funniest human being alive at some point. It was something like that. I don't remember exactly. Shout out to Herb. But yeah, that's the. You know what? It wasn't a hater wheel today. It was a loving wheel. That's what it was. A loving wheel. A loving wheel. But you know, speaking of loving,
I love. Kamen
I
Rider
love this
Geats.
episode of...
That's what I was saying.
I love that episode of Kamen Rider Geats. But you want to know what I love more at this very moment?
What?
Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Oh, my
God.
Oh my god. There hasn't been an anime. Actually, there hasn't been a piece of media in a long time that has made me want to die.
I it's for like, a nice solid 6 episodes, I would say, or maybe, roughly 6, maybe 5, maybe 6. I'm like, oh man, this show's great. They're all David, Maine, Lucy,
Doria.
What's the other girl's name?
Kiwi,
Doria, Rebecca. Oh my god, Twitter is in love with Rebecca.
When I watched it, I was like, bro, Rebecca's gonna be my favorite character. And then I saw how Twitter's been acting. I was like, I don't know. I should back away for a bit.
I respect them. I respect the grind.
I respect some of them, not all of them.
Oh my, the things I've seen of that girl. Not that I go looking. Not that I go looking, of course.
Jacob, as a whole, what do you think about Cyberpunk Edgerunners from Studio Trigger?
Cyberpunk Edgerunners from Studio Trigger, based on the not-so-hit game Cyberpunk 2077. It is like it's a 10-episode masterpiece.
It really is.
I have issues, right? I don't think it's super perfect, but it gets damn near close to being perfect.
Honestly,
the characters are great.
I think in terms of
it does a way better job of the lore.
Oh, it really does. It really does.
It puts me so much, like, I'm in love with the... I think you can tell, too, because so many... Cyberpunk's, like, the #1 game now on Steam again.
Oh, that's so funny. Like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
TikTok has, like, honestly gone crazy over it. Like, I didn't think they were unironic Cyberpunk fans, but a lot of them have been like, you guys were hating on Cyberpunk for, like, 2 years. Look where we're at now. We're at the #1 of Steam. And, like, they don't even mention that Edgerunners came out.
I kind of want to do a replay, honestly. I think I mentioned this, that I had one, but I didn't finish it.
I want to play it now. Like, honestly, the animes made me want to try it out.
Yeah. But, it's a good show. Like,
I think it's honestly one of the best triggers ever done, TBH, out of all their works.
I think it's probably... Okay, I can't really say, out of mine, it's probably top three, but I can only strongly remember seeing three of theirs, which is Gridman, Dynazenon, and this. And maybe something else if you want to count Gurren Lagann, but that was Gainax, but that's a whole other story. I think Trigger actually owns Gurren Lagann now. So.
Yeah, they I think they bought back extra rights for stuff like Gurren Lagann and Fully Cooley and stuff. But
I haven't seen Promare. I want to watch that.
Promare is really good. We should watch that for an episode. But like, as someone who has seen all Studio Trigger stuff, like I've seen.
What do you think?
I've seen Kill la Kill, Little Witch Academia, BNA, Promare, obviously. I've seen a decent amount. And so, like, I love all those anime personally. Like, Little Witch Academia is in my top 3 anime. Cyberpunk has easily like just kind of outranked a lot of them. Like basically almost all of them. It's so like it's new. Like I guess that's simply what I can put it as. Because Studio Trigger, obviously it has a style. It has a consistent tone throughout everything it makes, or they make, and it's always like kind of this fun, lighthearted, jokey tone. Even if it's like, oh, there's an end of the world plot, or it's like an action. Like there's always like a bouncy, light tone to it. And this is the first time where like they never really give us that, and if they do, it's always to just take it away by having something immediately like terrible to follow it up.
The Trigger second half.
I think this is the first. Honestly, in my opinion, this is the first time the Trigger second half has not completely like collapsed in on itself.
I think you're onto something because like it's not even like it does the Trigger thing of like there is kind of a shift, but the
shift makes sense.
It's a shift that makes sense and it doesn't feel as big of a shift, right?
Yeah.
Because like Gurren Lagann for example, right? Count if you want.
Has that time skip.
That shift is huge.
Well, it's isn't it like a 7-year time skip where like they like rebuild society?
They rebuild society. I don't want to say it becomes political, but it's not like it's only political in the first.
It becomes like row, fight the power, believe in yourself. Anyways, we've civilization. I'm the president now.
And like they're like getting Simon in trouble, and like nah, you can't be Gurren Lagann anymore. Blah, 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 blah. And then they go into space, and then they fight Anti-Spiral, and that's a whole thing.
Yeah,
and like it ends on another time skip, and I don't like that.
It's always weird with Trigger because like Little Witch Academia, that its first half is slice of life, like kind of just fun, and then the second half they introduce a main villain. They have like a plot line. And it's weird. In Kill la Kill, they introduce all the stuff with like Ryuko and Satsuki's mom, and like they're actually aliens from space. All that stuff confused me from Kill la Kill. Goddamn, BNA has just I don't even like to explain BNA. It's really fucking weird. It's something it's something they make fun of Promare in Promare because Promare's plot is like it's. The people suddenly have gained the ability to control fire, and like we kind of like separate them as like two different races from like them and normal human beings, and then the second half is actually like all this stuff, space robots, different dimensions. They make it very obvious they're parroting themselves.
Good for them.
I love it. It's a fun movie, but like this one actually feels like the most natural and the most smooth to me. It's not like we completely changed the tone of the story, or we added something that's not like originally like an element of the show, like Little Witch. It's a natural thing of like after seeing the person he idolized get obliterated. He was like, I'm gonna become him.
I'm gonna become him.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to take his place. I'm gonna try to do what he wanted me to do. And that's the sad part of all of it to me. Like everything that happened, even Becca's death, that I don't know if you were there in Call Jacob when we watched Becca's death, but like I paused for like 5 minutes while Chris and Peter were just like sitting there. And I was just like suffering.
I don't think I was.
I was suffering. But just like wow.
No, I don't think I was. Maybe I was.
Yeah, like it's so depressing to me that David constantly is like my mom and Maine left me with this mission. They left me with a purpose that I'm carrying out right now, even though everyone else is trying to get me to stop. But like,
And it's like,
but it's
buddy,
actually,
they didn't.
yeah,
They
they
didn't
never
ask
told
you.
you. If anything, they both told you to stop. Like his
Maybe
mom.
his mom kind of was like, hey, you know, if you stay in school, you can go to Arasaka. Or
Yeah, his
whatever it
mom was like, yeah, I'm trying to give you a good footing in the world, and you are doing everything in your power to just not take it. And then she dies, and David's just like, well, now my mom left me with this, and the Sandevistan and her jacket. She left me with this. This is my mission now. And then after all that, once Maine goes through cyberpsychosis, and like that, oh my god, the voice actors in both the sub and the dub like deserve so much praise because they both give like the perfect line delivery of the whole thing of like David going, Maine, tell me I can do it. You can't do it, David. You can't. And then he dies, and David just like starts screaming in sped up time, and we see him like go back to the truck with Lucy with Maine's arm, and then he starts to wear Maine's arm. And it's like, I don't know what to...
That fucks him over in the end.
Yeah,
if you think about it.
yeah. I don't know how to summarize it, but it's like he takes the stuff of the people he believed, or he I don't know, gaslighted himself, or some kind of trauma response of like he believed that these people gave him a mission, a specific mission to carry out when both of them have told them to stop and run away and try to get a good life again.
With the battle suit at the end, you know, it's Faraday as Lucy telling him to use it, so he does, because that's what he's told by a person, you know, he loves / idolizes, right? And then immediately, you know, the real Lucy shows up, and not shows up, she calls him and is like, don't use it, but he's like, oh, you told me to. So he's conflicted, and then, like, you know, that okay. This is this is kind of a rant, but that part really pisses me off. I think it's the body horror, maybe, of it's just his torso.
Yeah, it doesn't piss me off. It just, like, makes me feel, like, uncomfortable, which I think is... I'm pretty sure that's the point. I think that's the whole thing.
Maybe it's also like I wanted to see him fight, like him as him fight Atom Smasher, but it's
the more I watch or I research like the genre of cyberpunk itself. There's a whole lot of
the
like
more you feel it makes sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also like the more I discover that a major theme of the entire like genre is like, oh, if you truly start putting like machine parts into you that replace your flesh parts, are you truly human? Like, at what point do you stop being human? And I think that's something Edgerunners does like perfectly. Like, of course we had the Sandevistan like scene of him putting it in, which is horrific. Like, I body horror stuff is like my no go, and this was like probably the limit of what I could handle. Of just seeing him like having, because like, oh my god, there's no like pain like suppressors or anything. You just have to like take it while it happens in real time. It's especially the one that like, even though it was like literally a quick scene, I was thinking about the lung implants that he got like when he joined the Edgerunners team. Of like, so like do you just have like a solid like what 5 or so seconds where you just don't have lungs? That's insane to me. That freaks me out, man. And
it's weird too, because it's like, I feel like even for Trigger, this is a very especially gory anime.
It is. It really is.
And I don't, you know,
honestly, Trigger animes don't really have gore, TBH.
They really don't. I think Kill kind of, but it's exaggerated. I feel
it's very cartoony.
You know, it's that's the word. And you know, Gurren Lagann, Dinosaur, not really gory. There's some, you know, blood, but it's not huge, so that doesn't really even count. But it's, you know, disagree with me in the comments, other people who've played the game, but I don't feel the game itself was ever that gory.
Like, yeah, maybe, I'm pretty sure you could like
artistic liberties.
You can cut people's heads off and they can do that, but like Trigger goes out of its way to put an emphasis on it through its animation.
Exactly. You know,
like when someone gets split in half, you feel their bones getting torn apart. Like you can hear their bones getting torn apart. TBH. Like you can hear all the blood splatters. They show you like when someone gets obliterated, they truly get obliterated. Like, oh my god, Main's rocket arm in that one fight where you just kind of like held the guy by his neck and blasted him, and like there wasn't even like pieces left. He was just blood mist.
The whole, oh my god, the scene, or the whole like thing of David is stuck in that brain dance with all the machine parts coming out. I think that was the brain dance. I'm pretty sure. It was,
Oh,
all
the
gun
dream
parts coming out.
Oh yeah, the dream sequences.
Yeah.
Oh my
those
god.
Were, just.
Honestly, I thought that was supposed to be some kind of foreshadowing for something, and I guess it was just cyber psychosis. But like I thought it was like for something else. But like having the realization that it was cyber psychosis, like oh my god, he had it like that early.
I love how they're. I think we might have talked about this in the last episode, but like his whole thing of like, oh, I'm special. But it's like, dude, you're not like really.
Yeah,
you're just saying you are.
His whole like, sure, you're able to handle this slightly better than other people, but ultimately, like, you're just a guy.
You still puke blood at the end of the day. You still have to take a bunch of these meds.
Yeah, and it's especially with like the whole like you can really feel in the Atom Smasher fight. Honestly, and I think Atom Smasher as a final villain works so well for this show.
Yeah, because
like it's the whole thing. Know
what you do.
I thought
not so much if it wasn't him, but like
because I thought the main villain the entire
Faraday.
Yeah, I thought for some reason I thought the main villain the entire time was going to be Faraday because he kind of like fit the body like the body structure of like the silhouette that shoots David in the head in the opening because Atom Smasher does not fit that at all. But even though he's the one that does it, but it's just I thought it was gonna be Faraday because it really feels like that's what it was being set up to be. Like whether it was like especially he was gonna be a fight or he's gonna have like a bodyguard. Faraday was being like kind of set up as a final villain.
It's weird because I felt initially he doesn't feel like the villain. He feels like he's just a part of the world and they get their jobs from him. But then, obviously, it slowly creeps up with like, oh, he's looking for Lucy or whatever it is, But I think it's interesting.
Question relating to Faraday. Did you watch the sub or the dub for the show?
I watched the dub. I heard Gus.
I watched the sub. When I switched to the dub for a singular moment, I was like, oh my god, that is Giancarlo Esposito, Stan Edgar from The Boys. It is...
it's him. He's not like putting on a voice.
Yeah.
He's just being him.
It's so funny.
It's weird. He's a lot, maybe because I watched Breaking Bad, right? And this was maybe two or a month ago. His voice has changed a lot. It is a lot deeper than it was in that show. Which obviously, it's going to happen. The show was a couple years ago now, but still, it's crazy how much deeper it is. But maybe, that's just him doing the voice for the character.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's fitting that it really feels like Faraday is going to be like David's personal villain, and David was being set up with the cyber skeleton and everything, and actually the main villain was just the big bad guy from the government that the government funded, and they just send him out and he effortlessly kills him. Like if you watch that entire fight, there isn't really a part where Atom Smasher struggles.
Yeah.
It was just a matter of how long could it's just a matter of how long could
so it's like
how long could everyone hold him back before he eventually kills them.
Yeah,
it's a depressing
out
wipeout.
Of nowhere, or do you think
I do feel like he was out of nowhere, but I feel like that's fitting. Of just David really thinks he's special and he's having this special thing going on, but no. Even Atom Smasher, even Atom Smasher shows up and he's like, "You think you're special just because you can handle a Sandevistan, bro? I have one. Every special person has one. You're not special."
Yeah.
And then he just it's such a depressing thing. Even though you can kind of see the beginning of what's a mutual respect Atom Smasher has for David because he's like, oh. You kind of threw away your humanity like I did. That's cool. And he still kills him at the end.
You're just like me.
It's just, I'm glad it's just wow. David just dies. He goes out like a guy. Even though he did all this and you thought he was truly
gets bodied.
It's really funny. He's the main character that thinks he's the main character, but in terms of the world, he's not.
That's such a good point. He's like, you know how like people are like, oh, you got main character energy. This guy, I do have main
He
character
literally
energy.
said,
You're right.
"I'm built different" in the show, like an unironic line. I'm built differently.
I'm built different.
I think the saddest thing,
Dude, you gotta pop pills every 24 minutes.
I loved Rebecca. Obviously, Rebecca's my favorite character, so I'm going to talk about it. But like Rebecca, before the time skip, because I assume there has to be a time skip because he has all that cybernetic stuff.
I would say it's. I would say maybe it's. I think they say it's a few months, but I think it's. It seems like it's been a couple months at the least.
Yeah, because he has like a reputation in the crime world and stuff. But like Rebecca before the time skip, I loved her because she was just funny. Of like, oh, she opens the door and David's there, and she answers by just having a gun in his face the entire time. Like I love stuff like that. And then the time skip happens, and she got like these giant cyber hands, which I love. I love them. They're so goofy looking. I love it. But like, you can instantly tell that she's been around David all these months, and instead of just being like the funny like, yeah, I have a gun. I'm tiny and I shoot a gun.
Crush on you.
I'm tiny and I shoot a gun. She went from like, damn, I actually like care about you. Like, can you not like throw your life away and keep making your body worse? Like it's so depressing within like the last like 2 or 3 episodes. How like basically all the exchanges between David and Rebecca is just David going, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this, and I need to put my. I need to get more implants.
Like, no,
I need to get a cyber skeleton. And Rebecca's just like, no, like you are slowly going cyber psycho. I can see it. You're going insane.
You know what's funny about Rebecca, and this is definitely just a Jacob thing, right? But so there's the scene. I think it's when they're stealing that thing from the guy when they're pickpocketing him in the. What's the bar called? I think it's the Afterlife. I forget.
Yeah.
But, she's making moves on him. I don't know why, but I did not think she'd become a main character because I don't think she's in the initial scene of them at, trying to rip the Sandessa off of him. I feel like she's not in it. I can't remember.
She was not there. I remember.
But she shows up, and I'm like, all right, she's a cute little one-off. Twitter will go probably nuts for.
This is so funny. I'm just gonna mention this right now because it's related to one of our 2 topics. But I have a friend that's not into Kamen Rider. They're into the Owl House. That I'm introducing them into Kamen Rider through Geats, and they've seen the first 2 episodes. I've been sending them like episode links, and the entire time they were like, oh, God, even though like he hasn't done anything, my favorite guy is the panda. Like he's interesting to me. And so I got a message from them right now, and I'm pretty sure they watched it because all they said was so much for the panda. I feel bad for them.
That reminds me of I try. So I kind of got my friends, some IRL friends in the Kamen. I got one more into the other, but one friend. He he watched X-Aid with us, or he watched some of X-Aid. It somehow became a joke in our group that he was obsessed with Poppy. So my friend Calvin, right? He went out of his way to buy my friend Brian. Brian will probably listen. Hi, Brian. But he went out of his way to buy Brian for his birthday the Poppy version of Do Re Mi Fa Beat. So like, we're at his birthday party, and I know that Calvin got him this, right? So Calvin, hands him the gift. Brian opens it, and Brian just starts dying of laughter. It's just this fucking, this fucking purple game, not purple.
Isn't that expensive too?
I think it is. It was either Do Re Mi Fa Beat or it was
Tokimeki Crisis.
Tokimeki. I can actually text him and ask.
We'll have the answers another day.
We'll have the answers another day.
But yeah, because we're circling back to Edgerunners. Yeah, like just
speaking of anime girls,
it's depressing just seeing how much Rebecca was like just begging David to stop ruining his body, and so eventually, like you can kind of see the moment in the last like arc where you can kind of see Rebecca just sadly accepting David's death. And it's especially that one scene of like them driving to Arasaka Tower to go kill Faraday, and David's just like like in full cyber psychosis mode. He's having visions. He's like, oh
He's like,
yeah,
Mom.
mom. Yeah, that scene made me want to cry so
Oh,
hard. I'm like, Mom, straight to Arasaka Tower. And
yeah.
Rebecca's just like, you can obviously tell she's sad, but she's like, yeah, man, whatever you want. It's so
Love that
crazy.
filmmaking.
It's like obviously because once you see what happens to Maine, what happened to Maine and Doria absolutely devastated me. By the way, like I said, I had to pause for Rebecca. I had to pause for them too because I really cared about them.
That hurt. That one hurt a lot.
Because it's just like I thought Maine was gonna be there for like forever basically and just be David's mentor. Like I felt like he was gonna die, but I didn't think it was gonna be like then and like that. Like
Yeah.
he's like I think Maine's moment is really good at setting a tone because the show already set the tone pretty easily of like, oh, this is a shitty world. People everything costs money. Capitalism rules everything, and David's life sucks, and people can get killed whenever. Like the tone of the world is set, but like then it tries to like kind of uplift it with the team and David and David becoming an edge runner. And so it's like, oh, every there might be an upside, and just when we believe, like as a viewer, that there might be an upside, it then sets, oh god, it sets the tone again through main cyber psychosis, and it just to see how far someone can go down and like how terrifying it actually is, like
And even
seeing it from both
that's foreshadowing.
Main's point of view and from the outside view. It's just it's depressing. It really is. Of just, oh yeah, if with like you can have all these enhancements, but like ultimately they're still tech, and tech can malfunction, and it's linked to your brain. Like that's that's also like a freaky concept I don't like thinking about. But like it's it's sad. Of just, oh, even the people you look up to aren't invincible, because I feel like that's another lesson that I feel like it's trying to tell, that I think a lot of people don't realize.
It kind of ties into the Atom Smasher thing, because it's like, oh, Atom Smasher, this guy's
He's a legend.
I don't know. They call him a legend. I was gonna say they call him a living legend, but I don't remember. They just call him a legend. And then David's like, oh, this guy's just a boogeyman. He doesn't believe in him. But, he believes in all these other people. But, they die. They die, right? They get kaput. But then this guy who he, doesn't even believe is real shows up and kicks his ass. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but maybe that's what we do here. We look too deep.
Yeah. And I think so, Edgerunners has something that I haven't seen in a while, honestly. Because everything I have watched recently has always had a message, like a lesson, really, to tell.
Would you say this doesn't have a well-defined message, or it has multiple?
I wouldn't.
Or did I ruin your point?
I'd say my point is more so that it's like, oh, not that it's muddled with its message, or like it struggles to tell one. Like I guess what I should say is that it's more focused on a message rather than a lesson. Like it's more focused on commentary about our world and about what could possibly be in the future.
It's not trying to tell you to do something. It's just trying to tell you something.
Like I haven't really seen a story in a while that just depicts a tragedy of someone.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with you. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've seen something where it's like, yeah, everything's supposed to go to shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, there's
kind of
no
like
real upside. The heroes, no one really wins, like except for Arasaka.
Like even Lucy doesn't win. Like Lucy gets what she wants. She wants to go to the moon. Which, by the way, that whole thing.
Oh my god! I can't believe they made Cyberpunk has an original song that will now make everyone cry when they listen to it.
That whole thing with the moon and her and I love them too. That is I don't know why, but the Trigger, they somehow did it to me. They made me like, oh, I love these two guys. I love these. They're so cute together. David just wants to be with her, and Lucy's just like wants to make sure he's safe. It's great, and then it kind of falls apart. But it's like, no, David's only goal is to get Lucy back. and then Lucy's like just has to accept that he's gone for a bit.
It's truly.
And the moon and their
Oh
kiss.
god, yeah.
I don't know. I love their kiss.
Trigger's animation and with this like Trigger could truly prove that they can honestly do anything, TBH. Because like they have the animation to back it up. All they really need is just the writing to put into it, and they'll have a 10 out of 10 show.
You know what this reminds me of? And this is such an odd comparison, but you know Platinum Games, right?
Oh yeah,
Bayonetta.
I love
this
them.
This kind of reminds me of when they did they started doing those license games. More specifically, just the Transformers.
I was about to say that Transformers one is crazy.
The Transformers one's probably their best one because the Ninja Turtles one was kind of and then the Korra, I don't even know who liked the Legend of Korra one. I think they might have did one more. But regardless, this is the one. The Transformers one is kind of the most similar, where it's like, oh, it's the most successful. It's the one everyone likes. But I don't know, because they're both known for doing their own original things. But whenever they both do something that's licensed, it always just bangs somehow.
Oh yeah.
And because even like it's kind of similar because it's like, oh, they did 3. They got Gridman's kind of licensed. So is Dyna Xenon, and then this.
It's just
Platinum's got the 3 I mentioned.
Cyberpunk.
I don't know.
Cyberpunk. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a breath of fresh air in terms of media, because it's like I don't know there's a place in the wide world of media for things that just make you feel bad, TBH. Because if there is feel good, then there is definitely feel bad shows, and I think this is a feel bad show.
Yeah, like as you said, it's a tragedy, and like the only other show that I can think of that's like, I don't want to call it a tragedy. It's not outright one, but like you get, Death Note's kind of like this, where it's kind of like
there's no real upside to everything. Like you can't even root for any of the characters except for maybe the police guys.
Maybe, and maybe L to an extent, but
like, even then, yeah, like the creators themselves said, oh yeah, L has a little bit of evil in him.
And like, I don't know. Cyberpunk's really I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't want. I'm not a positive guy. I don't like watching negative things.
Yeah, me too. I watch so much feel good. Like my top 3 favorite things ever are like feel good. I love Forza. I love all that stuff, and it's just like, wow. Like this is a story where a kid who has even if his life is a little scrappy, he has a chance at a better life. He has multiple chances at getting out of his life to just get a decent footing in the world, even if the world sucks, and he constantly turns it down and like goes deeper and deeper into the deep end until there's nowhere left to go except for death.
Even like after Maine dies, there's still like he still he still has the the flashes of the cyberpsychosis, right? But like that point in his life, he's doing fine. It's just kind of like
there was another opportunity.
Shit happens.
There was another opportunity to just kind of like try to fix his life, because that's what everyone wanted him to do. Like not only did Maine tell him to run, but Lucy wanted him to just settle down. Rebecca wanted him to stop. Everyone just wanted him to stop, and but he's kept going anyways. And if anything, it's not only does it tell us that none of us are really invincible, but like it also just kind of keeps offering like just I guess a lot of food for
thought. You're not invincible. I don't know about me. I'm just different.
Oh, it gives a lot of food for thought, and especially when it comes to like, because I'm hesitant to bring this up because not just this kind of goes for like the cyberpunk genre as a whole, but not this show, or not just this show.
What do you got?
But like the whole concept of like, if we start like having cybernetic implants, because like prosthetics and implants are already a thing, right? Like sure, they're not too crazy right now, but like they're still pretty advanced, I'd say. Like as of right now in 2022, and like if we ever reach the level of cyberpunk, where it's just you can have a rocket in your arm, you could be Mega Man or some shit, but like. When it's everything, like your lungs are made out of metal and chrome, and your eyes are just like optic like camera eyeballs that link into your brain.
It's different when we're actually linking like, you know,
You
you
have an
talk about the
Ethernet
prosthetic
port
limb.
in the back of your
Yeah,
head.
yeah. Like, you're actually linking into a computer. You don't just have.
Like
I
like
don't.
you're literally
I'm
just
not gonna
like
claim I know how prosthetics
it's
work, but you
crazy.
know what I mean.
Like yeah, we don't know how prosthetics works, but it's clearly not like, oh, it's basically like your brain, and then the rest of your
Here you
body is like a
go.
metallic
You can
skull that can connect to the
here
internet.
go into this ice. Go into this ice bath. You gotta be completely
And
naked
so
though for it to work.
so
And then just go into a computer.
it really brings up a scary concept to me, because I don't know if you've read this article or you know this. I don't know if it's common knowledge, but like Apple admitted that the phones they make are literally meant to be obsolete in like 1 or 2 years after coming out. Like they admitted that, like, oh, they're supposed to go to shit, so you buy the new one. And so it's like,
You know what's
if
interesting
they're,
about
because
that?
like the phones are kind of like definitely in modern day, they're a necessary thing of life, tbh.
Yep.
And so imagine if companies have that mentality in a world like Cyberpunk.
Oh my
Like
god.
imagine
Terrible.
like you have to buy new, you get your new eyeballs, right? How lovely. In 1 or 2 years you're fucking blind. You can't see anything. And so you try to go get them fixed, and they're like, actually, it'd be cheaper if you just buy the brand new eyeballs.
You wanna know what? Okay, this is a terrible. This is a stupid ass. Okay, wait. I got two things. I'll say my stupid thing for a second. But the first thing, this is a tangent on the whole. Where we make our products to be out of date in 2 years. So you know, I use a MacBook.
Mm-hmm.
Boo hoo. Ah, Jacob. Ah, Mac. Ah, apples. Ah. But anyways, not the point. The point is, they make the MacBooks built to last. Like, they make the MacBooks so they don't go out of date for a long ass time. And I know this for a fact, because when I was told by the lovely Apple lady who I bought my MacBook from, but also, you know, I have other people who use MacBooks, and my friend Sentai 5. Why did I say it like that? Not that point. But 5, I was talking to 5 one time. He was like, "Yeah, I had to get a new MacBook, but that thing lasted me forever." So it's like, why make the computer built to last, but not the phone? You know? Well, I kind of get it. It's kind of, you know, it's a computer you might use more, and it's better to have it longer. But I don't know. But the more jokey thing, the more stupid comparison, is that I was watching something about the movie Robots from DreamWorks the other day, and they do that. They do the thing where the main villain, I think, I've never actually seen the movie. I was watching a commentary on it, and the main villain is like, we're not going to be selling any more replacement parts. We're only going to be selling new. So it's, you know, like, oh, you have this part? Yeah, you're going to have to buy a new one. You can't just repair it. You can't just get a replacement. You have to get a brand new thing. I know it's such a stupid comparison.
That is funny though.
Robots.
But like TBH, it could, like, if we ever somehow start veering towards the timeline of Cyberpunk in the real world, that is such a scary possibility of, like, basically our entire body being able to function is put in the hands of Steve Jobs' ghost. Like that's terrifying.
I feel the same way about I wrote a paper on this for a class actually, but like, artificial intelligence, it doesn't necessarily scare me, but like, you know, the idea of like, okay, you know, all right, 0-1 was a point in this paper, but 0-1, you make the robots look like the humans, and I'm not saying this to be weird, but it's like, okay, you make the robots, right, and you want them to work for you. What's the point of making them look like people? It wouldn't. That just makes things worse, because it's like, then they think they're people too. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, robots aren't people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying, like, logically, right? Why are you doing that? You know, and that makes me think, okay, why in the future would we do that? You know, because people are gonna be like, oh my god, famous Toei Tokusatsu show 0-1 made the robots look like humans. We got to do that. And obviously, other things have done that. But you get what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, artificial intelligence isn't necessarily scary, but it's more how we're gonna apply it to things. Like, the idea of androids walking around and they look like us. I don't know. I think that's such a
So
doesn't necessarily scare me, but it's like,
I
see
guess
how it works
what
out.
I'm saying, to summarize all of my thoughts.
That was a tangent.
Yeah, it really.
sorry.
No, it's okay. I enjoy it. It really is a lot of food for thought, which I think that's kind of like a big point of Edgerunners. Edgerunners is one of the first pieces of media in a while that, instead of trying to give the viewers like a hopeful message, or, you know, like a life lesson that'll make them smile, and instead gives a whole bunch of meta commentary and gives them a whole bunch of thoughts of just like, hey, you see all of this? You like, if you have stuff like this in your life, you have opportunities to get out of this. Like, well, let's see all the mistakes that happen here and try to steer away from it. But like, not only for us as people, but as like society. Because honestly, though, the other thing I can think of in recent time that's like been popular and has had like meta commentary of like trying to give a message to society was Squid Game, and nobody listened because the second that happened, it's like Mr. Beast. We did Squid Game in real life.
I have an opinion on that.
Media illiteracy.
Yeah, because not to like argue, right? But like, I always felt that whole thing was him just cashing in. Like, it's not him like missing the point. Maybe he is.
No, that's just the biggest example I can think of to come into mind.
I agree. I don't know that. Whatever people, this is a tangent. I've been doing that a lot, but it's like he's just doing it to get views. He's giving people money. It's not that deep, but I do agree. He is missing the point. But you can also argue everyone else is because they're watching it. They're eating it up. Even Netflix are missing it.
It's a general
making the
point.
whole game show.
But I feel like there's a lot of cases, and just with media as a whole, or like I feel like it happens more so with like a lot of books because a lot of stories kind of start off as books of just like, hey, we're a society that like a very obvious dystopian. And people are like, isn't this kind of cool? Shouldn't we try to recreate this or something? Like the big meme I've seen is like, we have recreated the kill hole from famous book. Please don't create the kill hole.
I don't know. I think the idea of hey, I think the whole that's the message of like the cyberpunk genre. Like, you gotta think about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, about
maybe.
like machines and humanity. And it's so funny that like when I was looking up Cyberpunk, one of the first results is like the China exclusive Samsung Note 7 Cyberpunk version. I was like, okay, I feel like this is already we have already missed the point. Like,
we've already gone down the rabbit hole.
Like, the whole point is like, guys, maybe we shouldn't have all these cyber implants and we should think about our humanity first. But actually, no, guys, it looks cool. We should have it.
But guys, the drift.
Which honestly, that's honestly what happens in Edgerunners too. David thinks it looks cool, but actually, it's not.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my deceased mentor's arm that doesn't really work. Good job. Yeah, that was a smart decision.
So we have hit an hour and roughly 12 minutes, so I think it's a good time to wrap it up.
What an episode. We went on a journey today.
We talked a lot about Cyberpunk, surprisingly.
We talked a lot. I thought we weren't going to say much about Geats, but we actually did. I was looking. We finished that conversation in 32 minutes.
To summarize for my half.
Deep thoughts episode, fellas.
Geats is pretty good. It's keeping up everything I wanted to keep up. I'm actually like on the edge of my seat when it comes to Nago and Japan. I'm really curious to see how they'll go out of it, or if they'll go out of it at all. I don't know. It'd be cool to see them try to subvert something. And Cyberpunk is something I recommend to everyone. Just trigger warning for, I guess, body horror, gore, nudity, stuff like that. But aside from that, it is a masterpiece. One of the best animes I've seen in a while. I would only enjoy a second season if it had none of the previous characters. Like I feel like with the tone of the story, it'd be really fitting if it's like, oh, now that we had David's story and all of David's friends, this is like another guy's story, like kind of like an anthology. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like cameos. Like, if you have it in the afterlife, or like the afterlife joy of like, oh, maybe Rebecca's in the back. Oh, forgot Rebecca died. Damn it!
That was so cringy. But like, yeah, or just see what like
Johnny Silverhand. You could have him in there. See, I'm so surprised he wasn't in there. I'm so
like, maybe give her some more closure.
Like, I know he wouldn't have added anything to the show, but it would have been so funny.
Him. But
yeah, Cyberpunk. I was gonna, honestly,
It's like, you're breathtaking.
I am a dick writer. I have to admit.
Why?
If it wasn't for Chainsaw Man coming out this year, I would have said Cyberpunk Anime of the Year. Yeah. We have our biases. We have our biases.
Yeah. I'd be saying the same thing if Bleach wasn't coming out this year. Yup. But
Geats and Dog Brothers getting it done.
Honestly, you know, I'm sorry for dragging this on, but superhero time this year, I really, you know, I wasn't in love.
Yeah. Not even First Arc Revice got me like this, because I enjoyed First Arc Revice, but like
shows in
this just has like either, just has me intrigued.
I'm not saying
more.
It's one or the other.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like the first Reiwa season that feels like it's trying to go for something that's not Heisei. I think it's because it's so
different too from just what we've had in in the last 3 years. Yeah. I don't know, man. It is nice to be like, yes, fuck yeah, superhero time. No, I'm not saying I was, I enjoyed watching superhero time, right? But it's not like I'm like, yay, Revice, yay, Zenkaiser. But like, last time I was like this, it's 2019, Ryu Soldier, Geo, breathtaking. God, I did another fucking Cyberpunk joke. But that wasn't intentional. But speaking of Cyberpunk, really good. Solid experience. Really do recommend it. Like, God, it feels nice to actually recommend an anime for once, because I don't do that. Like, I just kind of watch anime and I'm like, yeah, that was good. But like, I adamantly say, watch this show.
That was our show for the day. This has been College Boy Taisen.
Fantastic. But I think
we do have a plan for next week.
Should we? Do you think we should tell them what next week is, or do you want to save it? We do have a plan for next week.
All I say is that our usual second half topic will be pretty expansive. We're going to be talking about an entire show like we did this time, but instead of it being 10 episodes, it's like 40. We also may or may not have a guest. If you want.
And
we're trying to get a guest.
We may or may not. We should probably ask him about that.
But yeah, this has been College Boy Taisen.
We should ask him formally.
Have a great day, everyone.
And then he.
Those are eyes. Good.
CBT.
Good.
Don't forget.
Bye.
Follow us on Twitter @guys.
Ghially,
but the L's are eyes. Capitals.
I gotta put in all the plugs. Goodbye.
The Ghia channel. He's working on veto essays. I'm gonna keep self-promoting. Goodbye.